Honestly, I mean, you could throw a rock and hit a marketing agency from here, pretty much from anywhere. So there's a lot to choose from. If you're looking for a job in a marketing PR agency, I think what's really important and why I think people like working for us is our culture. I'll tell you right now, our culture is, we have a very vibrant culture. We have people who have a very kind of entrepreneurial mindset. Even though they have a job, they still kind of think like entrepreneurs, right? Their brains just don't turn off. And that's one thing I feel like we kind of all have in common. Everyone's very personable, very active as well, socially, physically, being headquartered in Denver, Colorado. We have a lot of fun sports here to do. You can, snowboard or ski in the winter. You've got, a good skydiving and hiking and everything mountain related, in the summer. So it's a very active community in general where we're at, obviously, but our culture as a company very much matches the lifestyle of where we're headquartered here. We're also very flexible. We don't do 9 to 5. There's no cubicles. A lot of times we can all just work remote if we want to. There's no real set schedules. Essentially the way we work as a company is you're given tasks, you have a job to do. As long as you're getting that job done, I'm going to be pretty hands-off about it, right? I mean, so are the managers and whatnot as well. We're just looking for people who can execute. So flexibility is great if you have a personal issue you have to attend to, if maybe you want to take a day off. We have kind of like an unlimited vacation policy, obviously within reason. If you want to take what do we have? We have the powder day clause, as we call it. So for example, obviously in Colorado, skiing and snowboarding is a big deal. So if you're one of those people and a good snowstorm comes in on a Wednesday, well, that stinks because the weekend is not the only time you're able to go. So I'd say, hey, if you want to take off Wednesday, go do that. Just make up that time. You might have to make it up on the weekend, but that's a trade-off, right? So either way, we're very flexible with people's time and their personal outside issues as well. Another thing that we do is we don't train, and by that I don't mean we don't train you on how we do things here. We obviously do that, but we don't train people from the ground up. We headhunt. And why that's really important is that if you come work for us, you've got to have a lot of years of experience in what you do. Typically it's a minimum of 5, depending on the industry, sometimes it's 10. But why that's important to people who want to work for us is that if you are accepted into our company and our little community and family, so to speak, you can know that every single person you're working with is literally an expert in what they do. And that's a big deal because I think everyone's had a job at some point where they dealt with people who didn't really understand what their part was or how to do it, and that can be pretty frustrating, especially if you're really good at what you do. It's hard working with people who aren't as trained as you are. So we headhunt, and so we are just essentially a company full of experts. So another thing that we do here at Infinity is we have what's called customized compensation. The whole idea is that you are a unique person and your compensation should be tailored to you specifically. So what we typically do is if we like you and we want you to be a part of the team, then we're going to ask you, what are your priorities in life in general? What are the top 5 things that you are looking for in a company? Now, I started this program a while ago, but I remember when we first did it, I was actually really surprised at the answers. I had, there was a staff member who gave me the list, and I said, what is the, top 5 things, of course, that are important to you in a job? And I remember reading it, and the first line said accolades, basically. I forget exactly how she phrased it, but it was basically like affirmation and accolades. And it was a little sad actually to read, because what it kind of told me was that her previous job or jobs, she did all this hard work, and no one ever thanked her. No one ever pat her on the back or said good job or showed appreciation for it. And I think that taught me a lot about how we want to be as a company, because what I realize about today's job market and the people searching for jobs like this is it's not all about the money. I've met people, and I myself am someone who I would take a massive pay cut if I was just happy where I was at, if I felt like my work was appreciated. I work really hard, and it's really nice to know when people recognize that. And I'm sure that you do too, right? So that's the way we are. And I give that top 5 list because I want to know how you feel. I want to know if you're a super active person, then maybe health insurance is important to you, right? So we can come up with a good health insurance package. If you're someone who likes to travel a lot, then we can come up with a package that rewards your travel, right? Maybe you can work abroad for a little bit, things like that. So we try to customize our compensation based on your life desires and needs. And I think that's really attractive to a lot of people who come to work for us, and that's the feedback that we've gotten. So we're going to stick with it. So the last thing I think is one of the big sells, and there's a lot of things that we do here that people like as far as working for us, but one of my personal favorites is what we call double paid vacation. What double paid vacation is obviously if you're going to go on vacation, you get your regular paid vacation like you would at any other job, but we take it a step further. If you work with us for a year, which goes by so fast it seems these days, 12 months of full-time employment at Infinity, and we will not only you'll get paid while you're on vacation, but we will pay for your vacation. The dollar amount is in the thousands. I'm not going to on video say exactly how much because it could change. I mean, typically it goes up. But I can tell you right now that there's almost no vacation you could take that will not be paid for in full by our company. So if you're taking a week or 2 off, we have a couple policies with it. One is, of course, you got to time it to make sure that you don't, like we say, don't screw your team, right? If you got deadlines and whatnot, make sure that everyone's taken care of and everything's set so you can take off. But once you're gone, we will disable your email. You are not allowed to work. You have to take this mental time off. And that's really important because we don't want anyone burning out, and not just for us, but we actually care about you and we don't want you to be stressed. There's a reason why we do things the way we do, and it's because our employees and even our contractors are extremely happy all the time because we provide an environment that allows their brain to rest, to be creative, and things like that. So we will pay for your vacation, airfare, lodging, food stipend, all that stuff. There are obviously limits to it, but they're pretty high. So I think personally, and I've asked around, that seems to be one of the better reasons to come work for us. I feel like we should just tape it to my chin. Just
Don't tape it there.
Just ow! Put a staple it right in here. Just oh gosh, it'd be painful.